Hello friends! In the last video we talked about the tests and how to choose the right test for your country, your university or college where you want to study, or for your employer. Now let's imagine that you have a choice, that you have an option of choosing from more than one test. You can either take a TOEIC or a Toefl test because your employer doesn't really care, both are fine. The university where you are going are happy to accept either a Pearson test or an IELTS test. So how do you choose? You need to compare two tests and make sure that you choose the one with which you are the most comfortable, which will give you the results in the right time and that it gives you the best chance of achieving the highest possible score. So how do you compare? That's what we're going to discuss in this. So which test to choose if you have a choice between two or more tests? How do you decide which one is the best for you in your circumstances, depending on your abilities, your skills, your situation? So we'll look at various standardized tests, as they're called in the US, and remember that they're also called Secure English Language Tests in the UK and International English Language Tests in Australia. So which points should we consider? First of all, why you are taking the test. The second one is, what is the minimum test score that you need? Number 3 is, what level of English do you have now? When will the test result expire? And how do you feel about the test format? In other words, how is the test organized and how comfortable you are with it? Number 1, why are you taking the test? So what does it mean? If you want to study abroad, education providers decide which tests they accept. So check their website and see which tests they accept and see what your options are. But then you also need to look at the immigration department in the same country and see if they accept the same tests, because sometimes they want different tests for the visa. So you need to check whether you actually have the option, given that the immigration department and education providers may not accept all the same tests all the time. If you need the test for employment purposes abroad, then employers usually want to see the same tests as the immigration department if you need to get a work visa. Immigration departments sometimes want different types of tests, but employers are usually happy with the same test as the immigration department. What else can you do if you are not accepted? That's another question that you need to think about. So imagine that you were not accepted in the college of your first choice. You need to find a test which will be okay both for your first option and your second option. In case you're not accepted into your first choice, where else can you take this test? And remember, in the USA, TOEFL is the most common. In the UK, Immigration Department only accepts IELTS test or Trinity test. But Trinity is of course a bit tricky because you actually need to be in the UK to do the Trinity test. In Australia, Immigration Department and many education providers accept IELTS, TOEFL IBT, CAE, Pearson Test of English and OET. So there's quite a wide choice of tests for Australia. Number 2, what test score do you need? Test scores usually required for study are summarized in this table. So you have the type of program on the left-hand side, down, and you have different types of tests, and in the table I have summarized the usual scores which most of providers usually require. So this table should be helpful for you if you want to get an idea of what level approximately you might need. So you have levels for non-degree and vocational programs, then undergraduate programs, postgraduate, which is master's or above, and when you want to study just English. Now, when you want to study English only, very often you don't actually need an English language test to get a study visa. One more question to consider is the IELTS test, whether you need to take the academic or the general module. Usually it is academic, but sometimes you might be lucky and general is also okay. Always check with your provider or employer because these requirements change quite often. So I'm giving you a general idea, but be sure to check the specific details on the website or contact your provider or employer. Number 3, your English level and skills. Why is this important? Now, if your level is not very high, but you may still be accepted into maybe some non-degree program, or if your employer just wants to have a feel of what your level of English is, whether it is at least a basic level. IELTS probably is not the best test for that, because for levels lower than 4.0 it is not very useful because it doesn't give you that minute detail for lower levels. So in that case, TOEIC might actually be a more informative test. But if you're taking TOEIC, then think whether you want to take the reading and listening only, or you also want to include the speaking and writing module. If your speaking and writing are not that great and your employer doesn't care, maybe just stick with the listening and reading. That will give you a better chance of having a higher score and actually looking good. Speaking. Think about the speaking section in the tests. In the IELTS test, it is face-to-face with a real person. In Toefl test, it is speaking into a microphone and it is time limited. The Pearson test has 5 different tasks where you need to react really quickly and precisely, speaking into a microphone, so that's quite challenging. If you're a fluent, comfortable speaker, then that's okay, that wouldn't be a problem. But with some learners, speaking is the most difficult part, so think about it, whether you're more comfortable speaking with a real person or you're more comfortable speaking into a microphone without actually a real person in front of you. And the OET test, the Occupational English Test, may be easier if you're a medical professional with some experience in English. So if you're used to reading professional literature, medical literature or pharmaceutical literature in English, that actually might be a very good preparation for OET test anyway, so you might consider that. And remember, OET test is accepted in Australia and in some Asian countries. Think about time, everything related to time. How long is the test valid for? When you get a result, how long is it valid? Is it 2 years or is it limitless? When will the results be available? If you are in a hurry, you might need the results right now, the sooner the better, like in 5 days, but some tests take longer to get the result, so look at that. When can I sit the test again if I need to? Ask yourself this question. Imagine that you do not get the score that you need, that your score is a little bit low, but you still think that you have a chance of achieving a better score if you're luckier next time. How soon can you sit the test again? And I also made this table for you, which summarizes all these different issues related to time. So you can see that the IELTS test is valid for 2 years, and so is TOEFL, IBT, Pearson and TOEIC. But Cambridge exams are actually lifelong. They have no limit. So it is your provider or your employer who is going to decide whether they are happy with the Cambridge test result from any year, or they want to limit it to 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. So again, you have to ask. But the Cambridge exams themselves don't actually have such a limit attached to them. With the OET test, it is the organizations who require the test that will tell you when they want you to have taken the OET test, whether it's a year ago or 5 years ago, or what is it that they require. In the next column, you will see how soon the results are available. So as you can see, Pearson is the shortest time between the test and when the results are available. You are able to see Pearson test results in 5 days after you take the test. So that's pretty good, isn't it? With the IELTS test, it's about 13 days. But remember, if you want results on paper, the actual certificate, that will take longer. So all these numbers actually mean that the results are available on the website, and your employer or education provider can log on and get those results from the website. And the last column is how soon you can sit the test again. So from no limit with the IELTS, you can book the next day and go and sit the test again. I don't know whether it's a good idea or not. Sometimes it may be, say, if you were not feeling very well on the day of the exam and then in a few days you're feeling better, you might go and try again. But generally it's a much better idea to analyze, to prepare, to think, to do some study before you go and sit the exam again. But if you need to, you can do it anytime. And the same with Cambridge exams. With other tests, it can be after the results are issued, such as Pearson and OET. So you actually need to have the results ready before you can book another test. That's probably because that's how their booking system works. With the TOEIC test, you can do it once a month. And again, with the Cambridge and IELTS, there is no limit. Now let's look at the test format, number 5. Here is a table where I have summarized for you all the different aspects of the test format, from how long it takes to how soon you can have breaks, whether you can have breaks after 2 hours or whether you can't have breaks at all, for example, like with the TOEIC exam. What can you take with you? Can you take food, drink, medicine? Can you go to the bathroom when you need? That can be also quite important. Some people are more comfortable, some people are less comfortable when they have to sit for a long time without getting up and going to the bathroom or eating or drinking. Some people have no problem with that, but it can be a problem for other people, so think about it. One other important thing is the tasks. Think about how the tasks are organized. Remember, we discussed with the IELTS, you are speaking with a real person. You're also reading a text on a real piece of paper in your reading section, and you're writing your essay by hand on a sheet of paper. With a TOEFL IBT test, your speaking and other parts are on the computer. Everything is on the computer, but you can make paper notes. With the Pearson, speaking and all other parts are also on the computer and you can make notes, but the microphone turns off if you are silent for 3 seconds. So that's pretty challenging. You need to be prepared for that. With a TOEIC, it's pencil and paper and it's multiple choice questions. So think about it so that you know what to expect in the test. And if anything is very important for you, then you can choose something that works best for you. With the OET test, it is a role play with the examiner. So you actually will be role playing in medical or pharmaceutical situations where you will be doing a role play with the examiner. So every test is different. Alright, now let's summarize. 5 points to remember. Number 1, check all your test options. Do you have more than one option? Can you choose between different tests? And if you do, check that you cover your main goal and any backup options. It means that if you're not accepted into one institution, one education provider, organization or employer, that you can use that same test to go and do something else. Number 2, think how you can maximize your chances in terms of your level, your skills, what you're more comfortable with, and the test format. It's everything that we have discussed before. Number 3, be realistic about the preparation that you need. How long do you need to prepare? Do you have enough time? What test can you prepare better for in the amount of time that you have? So if you only have 2 weeks, looking at your skills level, can you prepare better for a TOEIC test or a TOEFL test? Or can you prepare better for an OET or an IELTS test? Number 4, will it cost you money to prepare? Can you prepare for free? If you need to go and take a course or you need to go and take a few lessons to structure your preparation, to get some tips how to prepare, how much will it cost you? Number 5, you can use some free and cheap resources and supplement them with some paid advice and lessons in order to be more effective. So if you don't have money to buy a whole course, to go and attend a course in exam preparation, you can use some free resources. But it is very important to know which resources to choose and which ones will be the most suitable for you so that you can achieve your goal. And in such situations, it's really good to get some advice, some help from a qualified teacher who can help you to choose the good materials that will give you the best possible chance and look at how much time you have. So this is it. In the next video, I will give you 10 tips about how to pass an IELTS test. Subscribe to see it in your feed, ask questions, and tell me what you want to see. Preparation help is on lingomondo.com. You can go to online lessons and book some lessons or a chat. We also have Lingomondo app that will help you with some grammar, in particular tenses, to prepare for your test. I hope this video was useful. If you liked it, please give us thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Ask questions and leave comments underneath the video and I will answer as many questions as I can. If you want help in organizing your structured preparation for a test, please go to lingomondo.com. You can order a chat or a lesson over Skype, Line or Kakao Talk, and we can plan your preparation together. Thank you for watching. Have fun learning English, and I'll see you next time. Bye!